Hey everybody, welcome to Erin Lanahan Method TV. It's so good to have you here as always. I appreciate the opportunity to tune in, to have a sit down, a share, a chat, connect, because it's important, that we do this with each other. I know for me it's really important to share these things as a part of my journey. So I wanted to speak a little bit today about surrender. And this, I feel like this word is something that we very often misunderstand. This idea of surrender, we almost sometimes correlate it with being weak or giving up or, quitting something. And when in fact, it's very different than that. So the word surrender actually means to let go and to trust in and allow the good of the universe, the good of God, the good of spirit, the good of, light beings, the good of whatever you want to call it, Mother Nature, the good of the higher self, the highest path to run the show, to take over, to step in. And when we don't surrender, it's out of fear and a lack of faith, a lack of trust. So when we're unable to surrender, we think that we have to manipulate outcomes. We think that we have to hide certain information. We have to hide parts of ourselves. We can't really show up authentically because there's a fear that there's nothing taking care of us. There's nothing that's going to make sure that we're okay, so we have to make sure we're okay. We have to be sure that everything goes a certain way so that we don't get left in the dust with nothing, alone or broke or rejected or abandoned or shamed or, whatever it might be. And so many of us, without even knowing it, there's this really deep unconscious thing that we're resisting. So it's like there's a feeling deep down that we don't want to experience, that we avoid, that we run away from, that we ignore. And even when we're aware of it, so there comes a point at which, like many of us, I know me personally, will know that there's something there's something lurking, and it's calling to me to step up, to say the hard thing, to do the hard thing, and to do it when I'm told to do it by my higher self, when I get that download, when I get that message. Because if I don't listen, there's consequences. There's consequences for that, and it's not that it doesn't mean that you're punished or that I'm being punished or that we get punished. It's just more like energetically, that's what has to happen. So until we really face into our fears, until we really just do the thing that we're the most afraid of, we are running from it. And so this is where surrender comes in. So how can we actually face these fears? How do we face the thing that we are so scared of, the thing that we are terrified of more than anything? And that's where surrender comes in. So my life coach, Tracy James, she's amazing, reminded me this morning that surrender doesn't know what's going to happen. Surrender, when we are in a place of surrender, it's a place of not knowing what's going to happen. It's a place of completely turning everything over to a power greater than ourselves. And that's the struggle, right? Because, then it comes down to what we believe about that power greater than ourselves. And if we don't, number one, if we don't believe that there is one, or we don't have one that we really connect to, or maybe we even think we have one, but then we find we don't, like we thought we did. It makes it really hard to surrender, to trust, to take these leaps of courage and faith that require us to become so raw and so vulnerable and to reveal these things about us that we are absolutely certain that once people find out, they are going to freaking run. So it's not to minimize, the fear that we experience around this stuff, but it's also to remember that the suffering that we experience comes from resisting what is. So if we're resisting what is, if we're never fully disclosing information about ourselves, if we're not, if we're too afraid to really speak up, to say the hard thing, then we are avoiding something, and therefore we cannot show up authentically all the time. We cannot show up 100% in our authenticity. And when we don't do that, then we create chaos, we wreak havoc, we create wreckage, we hurt people, we hurt ourselves, and we perpetuate the same cycle over and over and over again that will continue to repeat itself until we own up, until we own this. I don't love that any more than you probably do, but this is the way that it is. So to surrender is to really drop so deep down and get real with your fear. Get real with your fear. Feel it in the pit of your stomach. Feel it swirling and fluttering through your heart. Feel the anxiety, and then go a little deeper. Go a little deeper and experience what's there. What's going to happen, the unknown, how could I possibly be okay if I do this, blah, 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 and feel that. Feel what it's like to not trust that you're going to be okay, that something is there to take care of you, and confront that. Confront that. So a great analogy is when we are, moving down a river and, there's a branch and we hang on to this branch because we're so terrified of where this river is taking us, and we just cling and we cling. And even though it's not the best place for us and it takes a lot of energy to stay there, we feel that we're more safe there than we would be if we let go and let the river carry us. And this is a good analogy for surrender, for faith. So faith or surrender would require us to trust that this river is going to take us somewhere good, somewhere better, and to get honest about the fact that where we are isn't really that comfortable. It's like we know what it is, so we find comfort in the known, but we also know deep down that we can never be fully satisfied when we stay on that branch clinging because of our fear that if we let go, we're going to maybe not go somewhere good, and therefore we hang on to something that actually, we say it's safe, but it doesn't feel good. So, surrender for me, for you, for all of us, it takes this real desire to experience transformation through all our relationships, not because of any certain agenda, but just because when we do this, we are free. We are free. We can be who we really are. We don't have to waste energy or time pretending or hiding or denying or lying or withholding information. We can just come to the party exactly as we are, and we can leave the party knowing that the way everybody feels about us is the way they feel about us. Because when we aren't being authentic, we will always doubt. Will they really care if they know this? Will they really still feel the same way if they saw this? They probably think they love me, but if they really knew me, they wouldn't. And that's all a load of BS. And it's time to do something different. It's time to break free from that. So I'm just inviting you on this journey with me to do the hard thing, sit with your fear, sit with your lack of trust, sit with your lack of faith, sit with the anxiety that comes up at the thought of surrendering to something that is unknown. And remember that whatever voices in your head are trying to tell you they know, because that's what they do. Oh, if you do this, this is going to happen. Oh, if you do this, this is going to happen. They think they know something. And surrender, the greater plan unfolding, that is not something that we know. We cannot possibly know that. And so why are we assuming that it's going to be bad? If we could assume that it would be good, why are we assuming it's bad? So today I invite you to assume that what you do not know, if you're going to make an assumption, assume that the unknown is wonderful, is fantastic, is better than what you could have ever imagined. Look at where you are. Are you hanging, clinging tightly to that branch? Is it exhausting you? Is it hurting you? Is it hurting others? And if it is, let go. Just let go. Let the river carry you. Let the divine carry you. Let spirit carry you. Let Mother Nature carry you. Let your higher self take you where it wants to go. Just get out of your way. Get out of your way, because that's the suffering. Not the thing that you're afraid of. That is not the suffering. The suffering is our resistance to what is. So I'll leave it there for today. Hopefully I left that on a positive note for all of you guys. Please don't ever feel overwhelmed by this information. And instead, it's to inspire you to know that we're all on this path together, and there is a better way, and there are so many of us that are experiencing the same things. And as we talk about it and we get more clear about how to really drop in, how to face into it, it helps, it really helps. So thank you so much for visiting me here. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. If you're interested in coaching one-on-one with me, please contact me via comments or via personal private message. You can email me at transform@erinlanahanmethod.com. transform@erinlanahanmethod.com. Thank you all so much. Love you, love you, love you all. See you soon.